This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
Hi, Jody.
Hey, Bruce.
We're back.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be here.
Yes. Today's conversation is going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to this. I love seeing more representation, big bodies being out there. But yeah, it's always a good thing to have more bodies.
So
different bodies.
And we do talk a lot about this. And so what we're talking about this time around is New York Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
So let me first start by saying that there was, as far as I've been able to tell, no actual representation within the New York Fashion Week event with plus size men.
Yep.
Now, that said, there was a fashion show that took place during Fashion Week. So there's I want to differentiate.
Yeah, there's like the sanctioned New York Fashion Week shows that are part of the show, but then other people do their own shows just during the same period of time.
They capture some of that momentum.
Yeah, and they're part of the New York fashion scene or whatever.
But it's a fashion show happening in New York the same week as the actual event.
Yes.
And this is not uncommon. There are tons
everyone does it.
Yeah. So a fashion show happened during Fashion Week, and it featured plus size models, walking in robes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little more about kind of what you...
Well, from the pictures that I could see of the event, I think something about their tagline was, why be an angel when you can be a god? So they look kind of like Roman or Greek gods. They've got kind of the sashes and the robes and underwear of some sort on as well.
Sure.
So it's kind of a Greek god type of look is what I'm getting out of the pictures that I can see, which looks kind of cool.
It does. We weren't able to find who the designers were.
From all the different posts, I can't find who the designer was, which is unfortunate, but that's all right.
So I guess the first thing that I want to say about it, as far as my thoughts go, is first and foremost, it's cool to see an event take place that features
absolutely
bigger bodies, male bodies.
They're actually big guys. They're not just like football looking guys. They're big curvy guys, which is good.
Yeah. That said, I think the big question is this a step forward?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see, is this the beginning of something that we're going to see more of? Is it a catalyst for something?
I think it has to start somewhere.
Sure.
Every whatever movement, I guess we could call it, the plus size male fashion stuff, there's a movement moving forward. So I think any show is good just to try and get it out there, get it more normalized and whatnot. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think so. There were apparently 15 models as part of this event. There were 15 plus size men. I haven't seen the list of all 15. The one of the things that I think needs to be done better with any kind of event like this is the better promotion. The word needs to get out there more. It needs to be something. I didn't
even hear about it until you brought it up to me just recently. So.
And I mean, full disclosure, I had actually I had seen information about it before the event happened, but from what I was able to see and the messaging, the information that I saw, I wasn't sure that it was a real thing.
Okay.
So I didn't write about it for Chubster because I wasn't 100% sure, what it was, if it was going to be something that was actually going to take place.
We always get hit up from random things.
Sure.
They're like, oh yeah, talk about my event or talk about my thing. And you're like, what is this? And I need more info.
Yeah. And it's awesome when people are doing that. And those are the kind of things that we definitely want to support and embrace and promote. I mean, I think it's great to have those kind of people who are out there doing these kind of things, but we need more information. I wasn't seeing wasn't seeing an address. I wasn't seeing information that made me feel confident about it. And some of the things that I saw related to it didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. You know, some of the imagery and some of the messaging that I did see around it was just kind of
I was a little, because one of the ads on here, there are like, I guess, I don't know that they're like Victoria's Secret models, but they're just models,
swimsuit models
jumping up and down.
Like average size, quote unquote,
But then it's talking about the plus size male underwear fashion show.
Yeah. So
with women confusing. That are jumping around in their bikinis. So I was like, wait, what is this?
Right.
I'm confused.
Right. So it was difficult to understand exactly what was happening here, and like what the details weren't really out in a way that made it make sense. Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, it's awesome that something actually happened, that there was an event, and it's really cool that there were, extended size bodies, plus size men, modeling for this kind of thing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that marketing and promotion of the thing, could have been better. And, as far as like getting the word out about the designer or designers that were part of the whole thing.
Who designed this stuff?
Yeah, I think if it was just an event to push, that there needs to be more visibility for plus size bodies, hey, I'm all for that. But I think as a part of Fashion Week and promoting it as part of Fashion Week, it's important to have the fashion aspect in that, and push that. And I just didn't see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would totally agree. I want to know. Well, I only see a couple images and they look like probably from the same designer, or maybe each model had a different designer. Yeah. I'm not sure.
And I know there was a specific creative director connected. So I don't know if she was also the designer. See, there was a lot that was unclear. Mm-hmm. All of this said, yeah, it's cool that this is something that is happening, and it's also, it was pretty evident to me looking at the messaging around the event that this was something that had kind of just, the people putting it on had just kind of realized that this is a thing that needs to be talked about. Positive body image, or featuring extended size male models in fashion is something that we don't see that often, that it needed to be done. So, there was a lot of kind of talking about that. It's cool when people's eyes are open to these kind of things. I'm curious kind of where.
Yeah, it comes down to more about execution and
right. So the big question is, are we seeing the beginning of a trend? Is this something that next year are we going to see more fashion shows with plus size models that are actually part of Fashion Week? I think that's important.
Yeah, we need someone walking down a major fashion house runway,
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. It feels like just in the last few months, we've started to see high fashion. We've talked about this before. Yep. We're starting to see, fashion houses kind of dip their toe into this. So it wouldn't be surprising to me to see some more bigger shows start to include plus size models, or something like this happen again next year with maybe a little more planning. Granted, this was their first year doing it.
Yeah.
So who knows? If they continue to do it, if they decide to do it again next year, maybe it'll be something that's bigger and that's a little more focused.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to
beer time.
Tap open one of these beers.
Okay.
Today we have Alpha Distraction Volume 10 from Wild Leap Brewing Company in somewhere Georgia. LaGrange? I don't know.
LaGrange.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. It's a double IPA. It's very beautiful label on here with a buffalo.
Oh, yes.
With stuff on it.
I'm ready. Double IPA sounds like the perfect beer for today.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, here's yours.
Ooh, I like it. I like it already, and I haven't even tried it.
Oh,
looks good.
Boy.
Thank you. Yes, indeed.
Ooh, it's very
smells good.
Hazy looking.
Little juicy.
What did you say, LaGrange?
Mm-hmm.
LaGrange. Sorry, everyone.
Ooh, juicy, little fruity. Yeah.
Ooh, that smells really good.
Yeah.
So it says 8% alcohol by volume and a 46 IBU. So it's not terribly bitter, but
no, but you can tell it's strong. There's that underlying alcohol in there. That's
yeah.
The
10th edition of the Alpha Abstraction series. It's a juicy double dry hopped IPA with cashmere and strata hops.
Oh, this is good.
This is a really good one. That's probably why they've got the 10th edition of this.
Yes. It's good, and I'm not just saying that because I was ready for a beer. This is actually, this is really good.
All right, guys, make sure that you're following along on our Untapped app.
Yes.
You can help us pick out beers. You can follow along with all our beers that we're drinking. Send us some recommendations. We recently got a recommendation from a listener on one of our podcast apps.
Yep.
So I'm going to try and look up and try and get that one to try out.
Yeah. Please hit us up on social and tell us what you're drinking, what you like, what we need to try. Heavy Convo at Heavy Convo.
Yes, we're at Heavy Convo on Instagram and Twitter now, so you can follow along. We made it a little easier for everyone to follow us.
Yes.
And for us to talk about.
That's right. It's less of a mouthful.
Yes.
So
cool. Well, this one's really good.
Okay, so I have a question for you now. Now that we've kind of set the stage with, okay, there was a thing, it happened, it was good. Could it have been done better? Sure, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. How would you do it right? How would you do a plus size men's fashion show, and like what would go into that? What's your dream idea for a how would you approach it, I guess? If you need time to think about it.
That is a good question. I'm like, oh boy.
I've thought a little about it, so I can.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot.
I think that I think there are some things that you have to do if you're going to try and do it right. Planning is going to be a big part of this. Making sure that you have a variety of models. That I think making sure that you don't have just like the traditional big and tall kind of model, have different body types, different people from different backgrounds, different abilities, ethnicities, run the spectrum, make sure that it is unique and interesting and inclusive. I think you can do that and make it really cool. I think that that's a really important part of this, and that's the thing that we are always talking about, is that we just don't see that in anything, in any kind of media. So that's a big piece.
I definitely think, depending on whether you're going to have like if you have your own fashion line, you could do that. So yeah, just having different, yes, big, but even different within that big, because at work, I see such a variety of big people coming in to buy clothes. So it's not always that typical football player build that I want to see the big, the short and fat and the, just different. So having those different ones and wow. Yeah.
I think that's good. And I think the next thing that I would want is, I would want a number of designers, or a designer that really has like
a full spectrum of looks
they can come in with it and make it happen. I feel like if you're going to throw something like this, as opposed to just being focused on the models, make sure that you have a brand, a designer, an idea behind it that you can really run with and say, okay, here it is.
Yeah, I think if you're like a company that's putting on a show, you might want to have more than one designer just to show differences.
Right.
It just kind of depends on where you're coming from that. But yeah, having a couple different designers within one show to show different looks that big and tall people can do, I think is really important. And really promoting and doing the photos and the video and the live streams and the, all that stuff that all the big places do, and really setting a stage, having that room look like you're somewhere,
definitely,
like having the designers have a theme, but they do what they do within that theme.
Absolutely.
Like they could have done this Greek god thing or whatever it is and still had a couple different designers within that. And you got to really put it out there like hardcore.
Sure. Right.
And I think there's a lot of different avenues, social, press releases, but
there's a lot that you can do to cover it and get the word out. I think another thing that that along those lines is if you're going to have designers or brands or whatever involved, I love the idea of people being able to buy the product the same day. That a lot of designers are starting to do that now, where it's going more that direction, where as soon as they're out there on the runway, you can purchase it. There was something that we covered on Chubster recently with a designer who did exactly that for their fall.
Well, yeah, sometimes I think runway fashion shows are a little bit more fantasy than reality sometimes, which is good. I like that aspect of it, but sometimes it needs to be more, how is this going to relate to someone that can actually wear it every day or, on the street going to work or whatever. So making it more accessible to a buying audience that would be like, yeah, I'm going to buy that, not the crazy thousands of dollars for one shirt, but like having it a more accessible line. Yeah,
sure. I definitely get that. I do think that there should also be more of that high end kind of thing out there, just because there aren't those options. Generally,
I like that, but I don't want it all to be just that.
Yeah, right.
So I'm thinking like if they're going to buy it that same day, it might
the hard thing with
writing that check
with men's plus size right now is that we're still looking for the basics. We're still looking for so many of those things. So accessible pieces that are affordable is definitely something that is not well covered right now. So that is absolutely needed. I think that fashion, this more expensive luxury kind of fashion, is the audience is much smaller for that. But I just look at these things and I feel like, okay, if companies are going to be, if designers are going to be showing these pieces, if they can do that and they can make it something that, okay, it's out there today, people are going to buy it. You definitely,
because you get hyped up about seeing it on the runway and you're like, yeah, I could rock that.
Right.
Whatever the items are.
Yeah. So being able to do that is big. I think another thing that they really need to do, we talked about promotion, getting the word out and everything, but making sure that you're partnering with other people in the space, because, I think it's important that we reach out beyond the community that's already here, the body image community, body positive, plus size fashion, all of those people. But I think you want those people because those are going to be your first customers, your support. So getting the word out to people who are covering this stuff or who are interested in it is big. And I think
you can get those as like, we could be allies in the same thing and promoting it and talking about it and getting it out to our contacts. And, you need the mainstream media to cover it, to get it out beyond.
Sure.
But definitely use the resources of the plus size community that's already there. I mean, it's a strong, pretty collaborative community that I've noticed. So I think everyone's like, we want to promote, if there's another plus size show or whatever. We want to talk about that and how can I be involved, or how can I help?
And to be clear, I said at the beginning, it would be great to see something like this included in Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week as part of the actual event. And it would, but it's not the end all be all. If it was something that happened during Fashion Week, again, just having something that's more planned out. I think my dream show would be something like that, with more designers, more models, just laid out in a way that really helps get the word out. I think that there needs to be more planning, and it really needs to tie into the community that's already here, just to help legitimize things, and I want it to get more people in.
Even though I am in the underwear world, but I want it to be more than just underwear. Like that can be part of it, but I want it to be like actually fashion that,
I think that's a big thing too, is that it would be good to show more than just underwear, just to be able to be versatile.
I mean, there's a lot of designers that are doing plus size men's lines, so partner with them and you can do a little bit of, some underwear and some actual, clothes that we're going to wear.
Right. So, Yeah.
I think we should just plan one.
I know. We're going to have to do one.
Yeah. We could, I mean, with this closet that you have, Bruce, I think we could.
Yes.
Bruce's closet alone would be a fashion show.
I know. There's a lot of clothes here. We could, yep. If everyone is my size, then it would be, there we go. We got all the clothes.
Won't be a very diverse lineup.
Right. Well, great. I think I'm excited to see if this continues next year. I hope that it does.
It will. I'm going to just put it out there. It will be happening. There's going to be something. And please reach out to us if you're planning a plus size fashion show.
Yes. Let us know.
We want to talk about it or but give us lots of info and
yes. Tell us way ahead of time. Let us know what's going on. And, those are the things that...
or do you want to be in a fashion show? Let us know, too.
Yes. Maybe you want to model for a fashion show? Definitely let us know. So, thing of the week.
Yes. What's your thing, Bruce?
So, my thing is something that I have... I've held off on talking about for quite a while. I might have just...
leaked it a little?
Yeah, a little bit. Leaked it a little, but now it's out. And I meant to talk about it before, and I don't think... Now, if I have covered this already and, I've forgotten because my memory's not good, stop me. But I was an extra on Shrill season 2. Mm-hmm. Now, you've known about this for a long time since I did it last year.
Yep.
But the episode is out. The season's out. All the episodes are out. Yep. I think that might have been the thing is that I talked about it a little bit, but
you didn't say exactly what it was.
Yeah. So I was an extra in episode 4 of season 2 of Shrill.
Ooh, I haven't gotten that far yet.
Where they recreate the naked bike ride.
Uh-oh.
I was a naked bike ride participant.
Oh, wow. So, we get to see Bruce in all his...
Yes, in all my glory. With my shoes and a bicycle helmet, and that's about it.
Wow.
So, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but at the end of that episode, the two main characters are... they're leaving a restaurant and they're at a corner and all of a sudden the naked bike ride happens to come by.
Do we see you?
Yes. Uh-oh. Yes. So believe me, I spent a lot of time watching this episode. Yeah.
Back and forth.
Pausing, doing it. Yeah, totally. I was doing it on the Apple TV at first. Then I was like, it's not enough. I had to get on my computer and, yeah. So
how much butt cheek do we see? And
there's whole ass.
Oh boy.
Yes. And it's like, right. So it starts now. You would either number one have to know my ass to be able to really catch it, or number two, really be looking, because there's one part where you see like my face, my beard, my helmet as I'm riding up along the side. Then it switches to another shot and they're standing in the middle of the road and the cyclists are going past them and they're like, whoa, and they start to talk to each other. And then you see a sea of asses like riding away from them, and mine is right in the middle, and I'm the big guy that's there in the middle. You'll see as I'm kind of riding along and riding away. That whole experience was it was crazy. Mm-hmm. It was long.
I remember you telling me about it when you were doing it.
So I saw the call for it. I'm like, of course I'm going to do this because I do the naked bike ride anyway. Yeah. So I thought, why not? So they chose me for it. I showed up at 5 p.m. at this, basically this trailer that was in like a dirt.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It was just like, there was nothing there and there was a trailer. And so I went up and signed in.
Not sketchy at all.
Yeah, not sketchy at all.
This is where I die.
Right. And I signed in, had my bike with me. They were like, okay, well now go over to wardrobe and they'll figure things out for you. And I was like, wardrobe? And so I walk up and the guy at the desk is like, okay, so you'll be doing the naked bike ride. So here's the thing. Even though for the show you're going to look like you're naked, you're not going to be totally nude.
Did they make you wear one of those weird
They had me wearing thing? A modesty pouch. Now, a modesty pouch. All right. So it is basically it's like a sock.
Oh.
It's like a flesh-colored sock.
And it has like a scrunchie at the top?
Kinda? Yes, it has. So
you put it over your stuff?
Yes. So you cauliflower yourself into, you get everything in there.
Yeah.
You get everything in there. And basically that's the thing, modesty pouch. So they get you, you get this thing on. and you go about your business, and you look like you're naked.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not shooting right at your crotch, you don't know. So
that's funny.
The thing with this is, looking at it, it seems pretty self-explanatory, but then you have to figure out exactly how to make it stay in place.
When you're riding a bike.
When you're riding a bike, when you're moving and all of that. And so there is a kind of drawstring.
Oh, you got to like really tighten it down?
So I started with that, but it would still, as you're moving, it's still kind of sliding off, It just slides down and falls off. It took a while. It took a few hours for not just me, but a few of the other people who were there to figure out how to use these modesty pouches in the right way.
What do they do for the female people? Do they have a...
So they did have some kind of like
underwear looking
sort of thing. So I got my modesty pouch. I think they gave me like a Hawaiian, like a lei, and they had me get in this van that went to the staging area. And so the staging area was in this neighborhood in Portland.
Or modesty
still
pouch.
Closed. Still closed. Okay. They said, if you didn't bring your own robe, we have provided robes for you. Luckily, I brought my own robe because the robes they had were not going to fit me. So I get to the staging area. They've got some, snacks and drinks, and we're basically just waiting. It's me and 40 of my new best friends. And we go into this, it's this empty building that they had rented out for this thing. And we're waiting around, and I get a snack and a drink, and I set it down on the table, and I go to sit in these old folding chairs. And as soon as I sit down, this old chair just explodes and like launches me out. Like I tumble to the ground, just this whole thing, and I'm just like, man, I don't know.
It's a good start.
We're off to a good start.
Yeah.
So. Luckily, I was still clothed at this time. So
I was like, "You got to be naked during this whole story, Bruce."
Would have been that would have made for an interesting show. So we hang out there, and they're like, "Okay, it's time to disrobe." And so everybody, they've got these little areas where you can change, and you put on your robes. And we would walk 2 blocks down the street with our bikes to this area that they had covered. There was like a very long tent.
Okay.
And we all stood in there in rows, and we waited for hours for them to have us ride around these couple of blocks. And we did it probably 15, 20 times. There was one point where we had been doing a couple takes, and then we went in, and they're like, okay, we're going to take a 20-minute break. And that 20-minute break turned into a 3-hour break. So we started at 5 p.m. I signed in. We got done at 4 a.m.
Oh, geez.
Went all night long. And the modesty pouch, as I was saying, it was hard to figure out how to make it work. At one point, we were riding around, and I lost it, and it flew into the street. Yeah. And so I had to just kind of keep going, and there was a lot of interesting direction to people who were riding, because at first you're starting to ride and go around the corner, and there were people who were standing up and pedaling, and they're like, please, we're shooting you from behind. Please sit down. A little too much when you're standing and pedaling. So there were a lot of things like that. They had to get it just right.
Yeah.
They finally got it, at 4 a.m.
I'm excited to see.
And we were done. And it was, 3 or 4 seconds of,
Yep.
But it was fun. It was definitely different. And, I wanted to do it because I wasn't sure, are you going to get lots of people of different body types? And there were a couple other, there were a couple plus size women. I think there was one other bigger guy who was much older.
Yeah.
And, and me. And so I don't know. It just felt right for the thing.
Well, yeah, it's a pretty diverse crowd that does that for the real thing. So,
yeah. I don't know if I would do the extras thing again, especially not an overnight kind of thing, because, man.
Yeah, few different things I've done, they always go way longer than you think they're going to be. And it's just a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to redo this and do it again. I'm like, if that person doesn't get their line right, I'm going to do it, because I feel like I know the line.
Right, you've got it down.
I've got it down. Can I just do it?
Yeah,
I can do it.
Well, so I did put up a post on Chubster that talks about this and has a couple screenshots from Shrill the
Of
whole
your
thing.
butt.
Yeah, of my butt. Far away, so don't worry. It's not. I mean, I'm sure it's not safe for work depending on where you work, but it's not. It's also it's butts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there
I'll
we go.
have to continue. Well,
I've been waiting months to
I'm going to
talk
continue
about it.
watching it, but I was like, oh yeah, Bruce is in this one. I got to watch. And then I was like, okay, no bike ride in this episode. Okay.
I was like, hey, there's my shoes. I know that's me. It's hard to tell at some points.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool. Well, my thing is not quite as exciting as that, but I have been continuing to do my improv thing. I've been doing a weekly class.
Yeah.
I've been super excited. I have a show coming up. So I have another class show. I'm nervous and excited about it.
Nice.
And yeah, one of my classmates is doing another kind of show that I'm like tempted to sign up to do because it's like, students sign up for this other kind of show. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Like my thing wasn't necessarily to be doing a bunch of shows, just something fun to do. But like my classmates and I, like some of them, I've been doing it since level 1, but
right.
And it's kind of fun just to hang out with them and, have that camaraderie of you're working on these skills and struggling with a thing and you kind of, can have a thing to talk about. It's kind of fun to do with meeting new, interesting people in your city. And
that's awesome.
yeah, it's really fun. I really enjoy doing it. Even though I'll have a crappy day and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm tired. But every time I do it, I feel so much better and energized after it that I'm like, I just need to go and get there. And once I'm in it, it'll be fun.
It's just getting past that thing that's in our heads.
Yeah, you're like, oh God, I'm tired. I just want to go home. But it's like, no, this is fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Right.
Just go do it. Once you get there, everything's going to be fine. Yeah.
That's awesome.
More improv for me. That's all I got going on. So I'm excited. But I'm excited about it. Then another show.
I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Nice.
That's all from me.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here, and we'd love to hear what you think. If do you even care about plus size fashion shows like this New York Fashion Week kind of thing? Do you want to see that? Do you want to see more representation? Let us know. Hit us up at Heavy Convo on Instagram,
And
on Facebook,
on Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Send us some messages. Let us know what you want to hear about, and let us know about the Fashion Week.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.